Here is a quiz question for you. What car am I reviewing? Is it A, the Volvo XC40? Is it B, the Polestar X40? Or C, the Volvo C40? I will give you a moment. Ah, you cheater, you looked at the video title, didn't you? Aww. Okay, here it is. Hello there, monsters and men, ladies and people. The right answer is C, and welcome to Recharging. Fun fact, the review of this car should have been released a month ago. But 3 hours after I picked up the car, I hit the sidewalk with a bit too much speed, caused a flat tire, the tire could not be repaired and the tire was not in stock, so end of review. And well, I looked up the price for one tire for these 20-inch alloy wheels, and let me tell you one thing. Big rims, good for the looks, bad for the wallet. But anyway, the real quiz question is with this car is the Volvo C40 a XC40 with a sloping or well a coupé roofline, or is it more than that? What is not more or less than the Volvo XC40 is the front of this car, because for the untrained eye and well also for the trained eye they are identical. Yes, Volvos are still shaped like a brick, but they are not bad looking though. What is also the same is what is under here, because let me open it up. There is actually a frunk, unlike many other EVs still nowadays. BMW, I'm looking at you. There is a frunk under here of 31 liters, so enough to store your charge cables, not as big as a Tesla or a Ford Mustang Mach-E. What is different, as you have already seen from the side, is the looks of the rear of this car. Personally, I think the Volvo XC40 looks better than the C40, but luckily looks are a subjective thing. Funny enough though, even though you have this sloping roofline, the boot space with the seats up is the same, 419 liters. If you fold down the rear seats, then well, because of that sloping roofline you have less space with 1205 liters in total, which is 90 liters less than the Volvo XC40. Just like the Volvo XC40 and the Polestar 2, the Volvo C40 is available with two battery sizes, one of 69 kWh and one of 75 kWh. In terms of range, it actually does not matter which one you take, and that is because, at least here in the Netherlands, the 69 kWh version is only available with front-wheel drive, and that one is more efficient than the 75 kWh version with all-wheel drive. Maybe in your country you can mix these combinations, but here you can't. Both versions have a WLTP range of around 440 kilometers. There is a benefit though to the sloping roofline, and that is that the Volvo C40 is more aerodynamic than the Volvo XC40. And because of that you have around 20 kilometers more range according to the WLTP than the Volvo XC40. In terms of power though, the front-wheel drive and the all-wheel drive, there is a huge difference. The front-wheel drive version has 231 horsepower and does 0 to 100 in around 7.5 seconds. The all-wheel drive version has 408 horsepower and does 0 to 100 in 4.7 seconds. For the reference, I am driving the Volvo C40 twin engine, so with all-wheel drive and the 75 kWh battery pack. The Volvo Polestar Geely EV drivetrain is not known to be the most efficient one in the world, and especially this all-wheel drive version. A reason for that is that, well, a Volvo is shaped like a brick, and the other reason is that with the all-wheel drive version, both electric motors are always powered, where in other EVs, when the power is not needed, if the EV has all-wheel drive of course, one electric motor is turned off. During my test period it is pretty warm. At the moment it is 30 degrees Celsius, and when driving on mixed roads I get a range of more than 400 kilometers. If I drive around 100 kilometers an hour on the highway, the range drops to around 350 kilometers. Driving 130 kilometers an hour on the highway, your range will drop to around 250 kilometers. And if you are driving in the winter, you can easily subtract around 30 kilometers or maybe even a bit more from these numbers. In terms of electric driving features, the Volvo is really simple. No flippers or anything to determine the amount of regeneration that the car should do. No. You have a drive mode, and in drive the car will coast when you lift your foot off the accelerator. Of course, when you press the brake pedal, the car does regen. And you have a one pedal drive mode. That's it. The Volvo C40 has a 11 kilowatt onboard charger as standard. Charging the 69 kilowatt hour battery pack from 0 to 100% will take you about 7 hours, and the 75 kilowatt hour battery pack around 8 hours. The 69 kilowatt hour battery pack has a maximum DC fast charging speed of 130 kilowatts and the 75 kilowatt hour battery pack of 150 kilowatts. Charging both battery packs from 10 to 80% will take you around 30 to 35 minutes. No animals were killed during the creation of this car. Really, I mean it. Just like many other car brands, Volvo is using more recycled and sustainable materials for their car interiors. For example, the seats, the steering wheel, the floor mats, the vinyl here in the door. Real leather is no option on this Volvo C40. Besides that, what do I think of the interior? Well, it's a typical interior as seen in other Volvos. That means it's a really nice place to be in. Good materials, solid build quality, and the overall look and feel is simplistic and calm. Here in the middle you have a portrait screen for your infotainment system, and under that is a cluster with some physical buttons for example your volume and for your heated front and rear window. The only thing that I am missing is a knob for the temperature of the climate control. A cool touch in this interior is the inlay here in the door and here in the dashboard. It has to mimic a Swedish landscape. During the day it looks like black plastic, but during the night there is some backlight, and then, well, it really looks like a landscape. Again, a really cool touch. What about cubby space? Well, the door pockets, just like in the XC40, are huge. There is a decent cubby here under your center armrest. You have the Volvo trash can, 2 cup holders, and the glove box is of a decent size. Just like the Polestar 2 or any other new Volvo or Polestar, this infotainment system is running Android Automotive, not to confuse with Android Auto. Where Android Auto mirrors your phone, with Android Automotive the infotainment system is actually running a version of Android. That means you can log in with your Google account, you can use Google Maps for your navigation, and there is a Play Store so you can download apps for your infotainment system. Keep in mind though that the Google Play Store for Android Automotive does not have as many apps as the one for your mobile phone. Overall though, the system is user-friendly, it is responsive, and Volvo really tried to not complicate it with too many adjustable settings. Let's have a quick look at the rear seats. The seat in front of me is in my typical driving position. I am 1 meter and 85 centimeters. Plenty of knee room. The seat is in its lowest position and I can still shove my feet under the seat in front of me. Headroom though, yeah, not so great. People taller than me might get stuck with their heads. Besides that, the quality of the materials being used, again, really good. You do have an armrest here in the middle with 2 cup holders and a ski hatch, separate air vents, 2 USB-C ports. And even though this is an EV, you can see that this car still stands on a platform that is also used for internal combustion engine cars, because, well, there is a huge hump here in the middle, and therefore sitting here with 3 people is not recommended. The first thing that you notice when you get into this car is that there is no start or stop button. Just get into your seat, press the brake pedal, put the car in drive, and off you go, just like in a Tesla. The second thing that you notice is that, well, this is a Volvo. That means the car has really good seats, nice fixed steering wheel, plenty of adjustment in the steering wheel. Nobody has trouble finding a good driving position in this car. You can drive in this car for hours without getting tired. It is absolutely perfect. In front of the driver there is a digital display, and just like the rest of the interior, it is simple and minimalistic. The only thing that I don't understand is why I can't see my remaining range in the display in front of me. To see my remaining range I have to go into the infotainment system. And well, the information is there because when I have around 50 kilometers of range left, then the remaining range is showing in the display in front of me. Why? So how does the Volvo C40 drive? Well, the steering does not have any feeling, which in general is fine. I mean, that is a choice. But Volvo wants the C40 to be the more sporty XC40, and then having a bit more feeling in the steering wheel would have been nice. Also, because Volvo wants this car to be the more sporty XC40, they made the suspension stiffer. And here in the Netherlands on smooth roads, the suspension is fine, but find a rougher road and personally I find the suspension a little bit too stiff. Also, the 20-inch alloy wheels on this car don't help with that. But in general, I find the way the XC40 drives better than the way the C40 drives. What I also like more about the XC40 is the visibility to the rear. In this car, the visibility to the rear is absolutely terrible. The pillars are big and the rear window is so tiny. It is ridiculous. If Volvo made the decision to remove the rear window completely, it would literally not make a difference. Again, it is really terrible. What I do like about the C40 is its towing capacity. This car can tow 1800 kilos and that is a lot for an EV. Just keep in mind that this not so efficient car will be even less efficient when you are towing something of 1800 kilos. Driving and safety features, well, Volvo wants to be the safest car brand in the world, so you don't have to worry about that. Let's go back to the question if this Volvo C40 is a XC40 with a sloping or coupé roofline, or is it more than that? Well, it is a Volvo XC40 with a sloping or coupé roofline. That means you still get quite a heavy car that doesn't excel in efficiency. But if you don't mind those things, you get a very nice and very solid travel companion. And if you are curious which one I will choose, then well, you probably already guessed it. The Polestar 2. And that was the review of the Volvo C40. I hope you liked it, and if you did, please give a like. If you have something to say, leave a comment, and it would be awesome if you subscribed. And then I would like to say now thank you a lot for watching, and as always, to be continued.